Well, day 2 ended with a beautiful sunset, and day 3 started off just as nice. Morning. We anchored up here in this place where these big ships also anchor up. Close enough to shore that they wouldn't run us over in the middle of the night. At least we hoped. Again, it was a great experience to sleep out on the hook. And again, the captain had made some breakfast. Down below, I found some sausage and eggs. All the comforts of home. Even toast. Not bad for food on the hook. Then I went up top and we enjoyed the first meal of the day. Shortly after that, we decided to pull the anchor and get underway. This can be quite a task if you don't have an automatic anchor puller-upper, or windlass as they call them, I think. You can see me here pointing off in the direction of where the anchor is. Mike is up top running the boat, trying to get some of the slack out of the line so I didn't have to work as hard. You see the line gets really taut there for a second. Watch. I just held on, and eventually it broke free, and the rest of it came up. With that part behind us, the next thing to do was to find a place to pick up some fuel, and then to find a place to let the dogs drop something off. What's up, puppy? We were cruising up just outside of Palm Beach, and we saw all kinds of big houses. They had some pretty interesting seawalls too. And up ahead was Palm Beach Inlet. There were lots of container ships coming out of there. This seemed to be the place where those ships that were out at anchor were waiting to come into. And according to Wikipedia, the port at Palm Beach is the 4th busiest container port in Florida. As we entered the inlet, we turned a quick right, looking for either a gas station or a place for the dogs, and what we saw instead were a bunch of cool-looking boats outside of a marina. They all seemed to be attached to mooring balls, and they all certainly had a lot of character. Some were in good shape, and some not so much. We also saw some kayakers out there, which I thought was cool. We made our way up through this busy area, under this bridge here, and then we were officially in the ICW, the Intercoastal Waterway. Before long, we found a place for the dogs to get off for a little while. We found a little public dock here. We're going to see if we can take the dogs out for a walk on it. We approached what seemed to be a city-owned dock, and it was completely empty. Yep, the dogs were definitely ready to get off and stretch their legs for a little bit. Yeah. You ready to go for a walk, Jabs? Yes, please. Very quickly, getting off and tying up the boat was becoming pretty routine. Easy. Jeez, no problem for you, up. You missed the exit there, pup. Over here. I can't make that. Good girl. All right. Cool. Come on, pups. Although the place was empty, I had them on a leash because you never know. I don't think they would run away, but I didn't want to see a raccoon and just run off. When in doubt, I like to keep them all tethered up. Especially when you come into a place that looks like it's out of The Walking Dead. This place looked like it had been neglected for a while. Starting to become overgrown, and it was weird that there was no one around. When eventually we got down to the beach, and I figured I gotta let him run. I've seen few things in life that exude pure fun and happiness like a dog running on a beach. I couldn't resist letting him have a go at it. Oh, Jack. Good girl. After just a little bit of sniffing around, Bayard there was the first one to touch the water. No surprise there, him being a Labrador. Then he tried to coax Jabby into going into the water. Being a lady, she went in nice and easy. He's like, come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go. It was really neat being at a place that I'd never been to before, just pulling up on land, exploring. Kind of made me feel like a pirate of old, you know? The dogs definitely resorted to the old wild type too, running around and being crazy. They did eventually go to the bathroom, and I scooped it up and I kind of left that part out. Let's go. Then it was time to get back to the boat. Up here. This is the third day, I guess, of our trip. We're in West Palm. I believe that was the entrance to it over there. This is the intercoastal. On the other side over there is the ocean. And if you go up the intercoastal this way, eventually you'll find Fort Pierce, which is our destination. And I don't think you're supposed to run on the docks. The dogs were starting to get a little nutty, which was fine. I wanted them to get the devil out of them before we got back on the boat. What a life. She's like, I will knock you in. Oh! You win. Get it? Yes, I did. Come here. Don't you dare make me come fall in. Come here.
He's like, I'll do you again. Hey! She's yelling at him. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Yeah. Alright, I'll get you. Alright, good. Way to go, pups. Got some fresh water here for you. Something with a little less salt in it. A lot of spit in there, looks like.
That part behind us, we stayed up the intercoastal waterway instead of going back out to the ocean side in hopes that we would find a gas station. We passed by these houses that look really neat on the water, some pretty cool boats too. The amount of diversity you see out there is pretty astonishing. You can see million-dollar yachts, and you can see boats that, you know, don't cost as much. You can see really big houses and small houses, all kinds of crazy stuff on the ICW. Here's the location of that fuel dock. I did not get this on the camera, but we just stopped there. That was Loggerhead Marina. We fueled up and then continued up the ICW, and the weather was so nice and calm, we just headed out of Jupiter Inlet here. And we had fishing on our minds. We saw cool things on the way out too. People on paddleboards, a lighthouse, kayaks and boats and all kinds of nice stuff. It really was a pretty inlet, though I hear it can be pretty rough at times. The currents going in and out of there can be crazy, as can the boaters. Then we continued out, and our plan was to do a little bit of fishing. Mike was down below putting out a topwater plug that he was going to troll behind the boat, as me and the lazy dogs just kind of captained the vessel. He showed me a place on the chart there where there was supposed to be a reef. You can see it there starting to show itself. No sooner did we get over this reef, did we get a little bit of action. Mike was on a fish. It seemed like it was pulling pretty hard, and it might be a big fight, so I left it up to him to reel it in. When it came to the surface, we could see that it was a king mackerel. It was a bit tricky to get the fish in the boat because Mike has an aft cabin boat, and it's pretty high up from the water. So I kind of crawled down to the swim platform and was able to haul the fish up on deck. This was the first time I'd ever seen a king mackerel up close and in person. Well guys, I actually have a question about catching fish while you're cruising around or if you're at anchor out there on the water. Are you legally allowed to fillet it and eat it before you come back to shore? Because a lot of times the law stipulates that the fish has to be brought back to shore in one piece. So Mike and I were asking ourselves that question, and now I'm going to ask you guys, if anybody out there has any experience cruising or stuff, what do you do legally if you catch a fish and you're just going to throw an anchor out and spend the night out on the water? Can you fillet it and eat it according to the law? If you know the answer, leave a comment below. So after our little fishing adventure, we continued going north along the coast on the outside, past some really cool homes, past this big plant which had a sandbar that wasn't on the charts. It was marked by that yellow buoy out there. Fortunately, we saw it and didn't run aground on it. And then over land, we saw some storms starting to brew, the first we had seen on our trip. But it didn't matter because we were getting close to our destination. Well guys, we've made it from Marathon, Florida, all the way to Fort Pierce. We're now going to go into the Fort Pierce Inlet and to the marina where Mike's boat Good Times is going to reside. The storms that we had seen over land seemed to stay there. They weren't coming out to sea. There was a wind coming from the water that was keeping it over land and actually pushing it south. So in the channel we went, you could see that by this buoy here that the tide was running pretty strong. And there was a cool beach that we passed right by Fort Pierce Inlet. The water was deep right up to the beach and lots of people docked their boats. So we found a spot and we docked our own boat so we could pull over and hang out for a little while. After throwing the anchor for the first time, you could see I kind of jumped out there to the beach and tried to pull the boat a little bit closer. Doing that was a little tricky, but the next part might even be a little trickier, getting the dogs off the boat.
You gotta just jump. Don't hit the swim platform. That'd be bad. They'd have to jump off the step.
This should be a little bit easier when I finally get my boat going. That Jabberwocky, she's so graceful. Let's see her do it again. This marking the end of the trip, Mike and I celebrated with an adult beverage. The dogs really seemed like they were becoming boat dogs. They were great during the entire trip. I mean, it was just so much fun. It opened my eyes to a lot of things about how you can actually do it, how you can actually get out there and follow your dreams. I have an awful lot to thank to Mike Steen there for taking me along on this trip. It was cool to explore new places, both on the water and on land, see different marinas. I can't wait to get my boat going so I can do this myself. Mike here has a channel of his own where you can follow him in good times. I'll put a link to that in the description. You should probably check it out. Anyways, the weather started looking like it was maybe going to catch up to us. So we jumped back on the boat and we headed up the inlet towards the marina where his boat was going to stay. The sun was still out despite the gray clouds and it was really beautiful. It's kind of hard to capture on camera, but it definitely took my breath away. Maybe because I knew that this awesome trip was coming to an end. And there up ahead, it was Harbor Town Marina. Before we knew it, we had the boat tied up and we were walking out to the restaurant. We met Mike's son, that's him in the orange shirt, and then we sat down at the restaurant to have a nice meal. We got a table right by the water, which is always guaranteed to give you a little entertainment. What? I do believe there are piranha in the water. If you fall in the water, they strip your flesh from the bone in like 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. It sure felt good to have a cheeseburger in paradise and a nice cold beer. And I also got to see a fan who recognized me. Always nice to meet people on the water.
What's up?
What's up?
How's it going?
Pretty good. I've seen you on YouTube before.
Really?
Yeah.
Say hello. I got the camera going.
It's nice to meet you.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Yeah, we just went from Marathon in the Keys up to here. It took us 4 days, I guess.
You guys taking a boat around?
Yeah, his boat, 32-foot
Keep
cargo.
it here, we'll keep it here. We was talking about doing a little yak fish.
Right across the water, I've caught some redfish, and then over there, there's some spoil islands. I've fish behind them.
You kayak fish?
What?
Kayak fish?
Yeah, kayak fishing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place, man. I mean, look at this.
Good fishing. Good snook fishing. Right around the bridge over there.
It's pretty cool, man. It's a small world, you know?
Yeah. So,
You never know.
crazy that I saw you.
Yeah. Dude, I mean,
It's nice to meet you.
thank you for watching. Well, that concludes this series documenting my first cruising adventure. I've had a lot of fun. And for anybody out there who follows my channel, you realize it's taken a very long time for me to make this video. And it's because I've been using an old PC, which I am absolutely done with. No more videos with that computer. I've gone out and bought myself a MacBook Pro. Hopefully it'll enable me to make more videos quicker in the future. And there'll be all kinds of good stuff coming out, I hope, like me taking cruising adventures with the dogs on my own boat. So stay tuned, and as always, thanks for watching. I'm recording. Wow. Look at them all.
Here we go, ready?
Yeah. Nice.
Wow, I'll get that again. I'll bite my face.
could put your pee-pee in the water.
Not.
Not. Wow. Oh,
Oh.
we was chewing on your
You
finger for a second.